Power and money are necessary to control the world, but they are not enough. The world is too complex for a single individual to control it. But what if a series of individuals, tight by blood, decided to invest their wealth and seek power? And what happens when their ambitions live through the generations? The result is families that survive crises, rule countries, and influence the world, using a tremendous amount of power. In this video, we'll see how some dominant families were able to cause an economic crisis, kidnap the prime minister of a sovereign country, and cause Jeff Bezos a $40 billion loss when he refused their demands. I care not what puppet is placed upon the throne of England. The man who controls Britain's money supply controls the British Empire, and I control the British money supply. 1815, Baron Nathan Rrothschild. While many question whether this citation is historically true, many believe that Rrothschild did control the world, and they're still influencing it today. The Rrothschild family, the most famous of all European banking dynasties, exerted great influence on the economic, and indirectly, the political history of Europe for over 200 years. The house was founded by Mayer Amschel Rothschild and his 5 sons. Starting out in a Frankfurt banking house, Mayer and his sons became international bankers, establishing branches in London, Paris, Vienna, and Naples by the 1820s. In addition to banking and finance, the Rothschild businesses have encompassed mining, energy, real estate, and winemaking. From the early 19th century, the family has been known for its considerable charitable activities, particularly in the arts and education. Conspiracy theorists claim the Rothschilds have the power to control international banking and financial institutions, control governments, and dominate the world by fanning rivalries and even orchestrating wars to suit their own ends. The Rothschilds are indeed a very wealthy family, but are they that powerful? When it comes to political power, we unfortunately can't give you a well-researched answer. But what about wealth? The family is now in its 7th generation. The Rothschild European banking business remains intact. By design, nobody really knows how much the family's worth. The family empire is divided among a web of descendants, and the ownership structure is opaque, which makes it hard to estimate the family's wealth. One thing is certain, the Rothschild family is one of the richest in the world. And while the Rothschild family are believed to use the power of money to influence the world, the next family on our list holds much more powerful assets: oil. So often, the Saudi royal families are portrayed as extremely wealthy individuals who spend their time purchasing luxurious goods. But the truth is that the Al Saud members can be extremely dangerous and can influence the economies of major powers, including the United States. The most powerful individual is currently the Crown Prince, Mohammed bin Salman, also known as MBS. MBS is so powerful that he kidnapped the Prime Minister of a sovereign country for 11 days, made his police slap him, and forced him to resign. MBS also ordered the killing of a journalist in Turkey, and when Jeff Bezos refused to interfere and stop his Washington Post from criticizing the prince, MBS ordered the hacking of his cell phone and leaked the contents, which caused Bezos a divorce costing him $40 billion. And MBS is only one member of that family. Because of their role as one of the leading oil suppliers, the Saudis' power can trouble entire countries. For example, in 1973, King Faisal proclaimed an oil embargo. The embargo was targeted at nations that had supported Israel during the Yom Kippur War. The initial nations targeted were Canada, Japan, the Netherlands, the United Kingdom, and the United States, though the embargo also later extended to Portugal, Rhodesia, and South Africa. By the end of the embargo in March 1974, the price of oil had risen nearly 300%, with U.S. prices significantly higher. The embargo caused an oil shock, with many short and long-term effects on global politics and the global economy. There are few things that Saudis can't do, and among them is drastically influencing American politics. For that matter, there's a better player. It's the Koch family. The Koch family is one of the most influential in all of America. Koch Industries is the second largest privately owned company in the U.S., valued at $100 billion. The company was started in 1940 by Fred C. Koch after he came up with an innovative method in the crude oil refining process. After his death, the family wealth went under the control of 2 of his 4 sons, Charles and David. The Kochs and their network spend hundreds of millions of dollars in support of conservatism, becoming two of the most prominent faces in the new era of mega donors in American politics, building a political apparatus that, at its peak, rivaled the Republican Party itself. As an example of the Kochs' influence, in 2015, as the last Republican presidential primary was heating up, Koch officials outlined plans to spend as much as $900 million in that cycle, which is as much as the Republican Party itself. In a sign of their influence, Jeb Bush, Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, Scott Walker, and Carly Fiorina all trekked to a luxury hotel in Southern California to pitch the network's donors in person that summer. Despite their influence, the Kochs' money doesn't hold absolute power. For example, despite their efforts to stop Trump from becoming president, because of his policies and position from offshore work, the Kochs failed at preventing him from gaining the White House, which Trump celebrated with a tweet. Two nice guys with bad ideas. Still, the Kochs' influence on American politics was greater than one can imagine. According to a New York Times interview with an insider, it's really hard to quantify the Kochs' impact. It was enormous. It was pervasive. Money alone can't make you the ruler of a nation, but fear can turn you into a god. And this is the strategy the next family is using to rule. Enter the Kim family. The Kim family, also known as the Kim dynasty, is a three-generation lineage of North Korean leadership, descending from the country's founder and first leader, Kim Il-sung. The patriarch came to rule the North in 1948. He began the Korean War in 1950 in a failed attempt to reunify the Korean peninsula. In the 80s, Kim Il-sung developed a cult of personality, forcing his people to glorify him. Following his death in 1994, Kim Il-sung's role as supreme leader was passed on to his son, Kim Jong-il, and then to his grandson, Kim Jong-un. The Kim family leaders are known for using terror to stay in power, from threatening the world using their nuclear weapons to keeping their people in a hostage-like situation. No one is allowed to get out of the country, and opposition is punished by torture, slavery, and the penalty of death. And the nightmare of the North Korean people is still the same to this day. But atrocity is not the only way a family can gain power. The next family on our list managed to stay on top of one of the world's strongest countries in the world by using a softer power. We're talking about the British royal family. The Windsor family is among the wealthiest families in the world and possess assets that are worth billions. But the real asset the family has is the heart of the British citizens and the people of the Commonwealth of Nations. The Windsor family managed to stay head of state and maintain their privileges thanks to the huge popularity their member has, and they believe that the British monarchs were chosen by God. And while this belief is fading in recent years, many are still considering the royal family as an important symbol that keeps the nation united. While the head of the royal family benefits from dangerous constitutional powers, like declaring war or being above the law, in practice, the British family members work hard to maintain their great public image and to constantly improve their popularity. And the result? They are winning many British hearts, who constantly defend them against the anti-royalists. Can you think of something more powerful than that? Well, a more powerful one exists. It's the same power that allows one single company to manipulate the globe. In the video appearing on the screen, we'll reveal how one man is trying to dominate the world by heaving trillions of dollars under his control.